from one end of heaven to the other. One shall be taken, the other left, and we will go to heaven in the rapture.
The rapture!
Yes, Jesus!
Excuse me, everyone. Yeah, well, actually, that isn't what Jesus is talking about.
Shadows start to fade as the truth comes in sight. On the fourth day, he said, let there be light. Let there be light.
Welcome back to Fourth Day. I got a good one for you guys today. And if you're new around here, just know that the purpose of the channel is to give understanding to the Christians in the last days before the kingdom comes, to clear up the confusion that our pastors and rabbis and spiritual leaders have given us. Guys, we got to get this right. I see all over my feed every single day it's about the rapture. Look at this new blood moon. Jesus is coming back. Be ready. This, that, and the other. So the problem here is people are reading what Jesus says and they think that it's talking about a rapture to heaven. All right, I've made videos about this in detail, but I want to explain what Jesus is saying when he's talking about gathering from one end of heaven to the other, or one shall be taken, the other left. Okay, again, I want to help Christians understand their own texts. I'm not attacking scriptures, doing anything. I want to give you understanding of what is being said here, okay? So let's look at what Matthew says here in Matthew 24 and just jump right into it, okay? And then there shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Okay, so what's going on here? Is Jesus talking about one end of heaven to the other, gathering people? Where are they going? What's he talking about? All right, this is stemming from a couple pieces of scripture. There's a fundamental issue with Israel in the prior days. God gave a covenant at Mount Sinai. He said, keep this covenant, you'll live in the land. Then he said, if you don't keep this covenant, I'll exile you from the land. And that's where the problem lies. Israel wasn't faithful to the covenant. So now, what does God want us to do to rectify this issue? Right? Well, God tells us what he wants us to do in Deuteronomy chapter 30. And this is what Jesus is quoting from. Right? So look, it says, and it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse. He's talking about your exile, which I have set before thee. And thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither Jehovah thy God hath driven thee, and shall return unto Jehovah thy God, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart, with all thy soul. Then Jehovah thy God will turn thy captivity, and have compassion on thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whither Jehovah thy God hath scattered thee. Even if thine own be driven unto the utmost parts of heaven, from thence Jehovah thy God will gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And Jehovah thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy fathers. So what's God saying here? He's saying, look, I've driven you out into all the other nations because you didn't stay faithful to my covenant. Okay? This covenant that he's commanded to 1,000 generations. It's an eternal covenant. What's happening here is he's saying, look, I'm going to drive you out into the nations. And if you once again will keep this eternal covenant and return to me with all your heart, your soul, and your mind, I will gather you from wherever you're at, and I will bring you back to where? To the land your fathers possessed. It's talking about Israel. He's gathering the people back to Israel. Now, what's the sign of the Son of Man? What's he talking about? Well, he's quoting from Isaiah 11. Okay, so take a look at Isaiah chapter 11. It says, in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, he's talking about the Messiah, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. This is the sign of the Son of Man. It stands for a sign of the people. And to it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. And it shall come to pass in that day that Jehovah shall set his hand the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, from Egypt, from Pathros, from Cush, from Elam, from Shinar, from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign. Here it is again. He shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. So Isaiah 11 is quoting from what God promised in Deuteronomy chapter 30. The only problem that we have is that we're not faithful to that covenant that God gave. Keep the 10 commandments. Remember, Christians, keep the first 4 that you're not keeping. First commandment, I am Jehovah your God from the land of Egypt. You shall have no other gods before me. That's his name. Worship him only. Number 2, don't worship anything that has a physical manifestation of God. Number 3, don't take his name in vain. What that means is, if you're going to take upon his name, because we're people called by his name, then keep the commandments that he gave. Otherwise, we bear shame to his name. Okay, that's what that means. It doesn't mean by saying GD or anything like that. It means we're called by his name, by the name of Jehovah. We bear glory or shame to his name. So don't take his name in vain. Don't take it lightly. All right. 4th commandment, keep the Sabbaths. Listen, All we have to do is rest on the seventh day, cease from our work. It's not that difficult, right? This is the covenant he gave us at Mount Sinai. Now again, Jesus mentions, oh, one shall be taken, the other left. Two men shall be grinding at the mill. One shall be taken, the other left. Okay, what's he talking about here? This is where people get confused because they don't understand where this is stemming from in the Tanakh. Even people that have left the church and are keeping the covenant, they don't even recognize what this is talking about. Okay, again, I'm here to clear up the confusion. All right, so this is what's going on here. He's quoting again from the Tanakh. He's quoting from Jeremiah 3:13. So take a look at it. All right, only acknowledge thine iniquity, that thou hast transgressed against Jehovah thy God, and hast scattered thy ways to the strangers under every green tree, and you have not obeyed my voice. Turn, O backsliding children, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city, two of a family, and I will bring you where? To Zion, to Israel. So what's God's resolution for this issue? God is trying to tell the people, look, only acknowledge your iniquity. Just confess that you haven't been obeying my voice. You've worshipped other gods. And if you turn backsliding children, and you keep my covenant once again, I will take you one of a city, two of a family, and bring you to Zion, bring you to Israel. The covenant says if we keep his covenant, then we get to live in the land of Israel. We should be excited about a return to live in the land of Israel. But everybody, all I see is excited about a rapture to heaven so they can escape all these terrible things that are going to happen. You just have to understand what he's talking about. This is why people get confused, because they don't know the Tanakh, they don't understand it, and so they're not understanding riddles, parables, things that Jesus said. And all I'm trying to do is give you clarification so that you can understand what he's talking about. I don't care what your thoughts are on Jesus. I'm here to give you understanding about what he's saying. But the day is coming where God's not going to be known as the God who took the people out of Egypt. No, he says in Jeremiah 16 that he will be known by a different way. This is what he says, Jeremiah 16, verse 14. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Jehovah, that it shall no more be said, Jehovah liveth, that brought the children up out of the land of Egypt. But Jehovah liveth, that brought the children of Israel from the north and from all the lands whither he hath driven them. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. That's how he's going to be known. This is talked about as the second Exodus, or the redemption of Israel. This is what we're waiting for. But Christians are waiting for a rapture to heaven that's never going to come. You should be eagerly awaiting trying to go to Jerusalem. You know, Christians are enamored with the book of Revelation. So I'm going to give you a little nugget. All right? I like to do this because I like to explain to Christians what their own texts are talking about. Look at the fifth vial. The fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast, and his kingdom was full of darkness, and they gnawed their tongues for pain. All right, so here's what's going on here. Why is their kingdom full of darkness? Well, this is a riddle, okay? So look at the answer in Isaiah 8:20. It says, to the law and the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it's because there's no light in them. So the seat of the beast, what this is talking about is the church. They're not keeping the laws that God gave. There's no light in their kingdom. Okay? Now, why are they gnawing their tongues for pain? And this is the key. They're gnawing their tongues for pain for one reason. The answer is in Psalm 137. You've probably heard the song by Matisyahu where he says, Jerusalem, if I forget thee, let my right hand forget its skill. He's quoting from this psalm, Psalm 137. If I forget thee, Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy. So that's the riddle. The riddle is they're gnawing their tongues for pain because they didn't have their sights set on Jerusalem. Does that make sense? They're gnawing their tongues for pain because they didn't have their sights set on Jerusalem. Let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth if I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy. That's what this fifth vial is talking about. The people in the church, they're gnawing their tongues for pain because they're not anticipating or desiring to go to Jerusalem. It's not their chief joy. They're wanting to leave this earth. They want to go to heaven. And their kingdom is full of darkness. The church is full of darkness. Why? Because to the law and the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it's because there's no light in them. That's what this vial is talking about. This is what Revelation is trying to reveal to you. That's what Jesus is talking about. He is merely quoting from Deuteronomy 30, Isaiah 11, and Jeremiah 3:13 through 15. It's that simple. There is no rapture to heaven. I'm trying to clear this up for people because that's part of the deception. You know, people keep talking about, oh, there's going to be this great deception and all these types of things. Look, the deception's already here. This is the point. people believing in a rapture. They're trusting in a man for Jesus to save them. God is going to find out where allegiances lie. He's going to find out if you trusted in a man or if you trust in him. So that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for a regathering of Israel. This is called the second Exodus, or the redemption of Israel. And in that night, one shall be taken, the other left. Two men shall be grinding at the mill, one shall be taken, one shall be left. What's he talking about? He's talking about Jeremiah 3:13 through 15. I will take you one of a city, two from a family, and bring you to Zion. Only those that were faithful to that marriage contract. And that marriage contract was given to us in Exodus 19. If you keep my covenant and obey my voice, I will make you a chosen people unto me. I'll make you my treasured possession. So when God takes up his jewels, he's going to bring them back to Israel, and he's going to set them on high. So I hope that clears things up for people. I'm going to keep screaming this till I'm blue in the face, because this is all people in the church are waiting for, is a rapture to heaven that's never going to come. And when you see Israel regathered, and you see the redemption of Israel, and you yourself cast out, all you have to do is what God said. And he said, when you are in tribulation and all these things come upon you, if you'll once again obey my voice and keep my covenant, I will not forget my covenant. I'll remember you. You just have to patiently endure until it's your time to come. So if you have any questions, if you have any comments, leave them below, and I'll talk to you guys on another video. Take care.
Shadows start to fade as the truth comes in sight. On the fourth day, he said, let there be light. Let there be light.